currently at Canberra Airport because today we will be flying to Cairns in Queensland. We have arrived a bit early, like 4 hours early, because it is currently 7 a.m. and our plane doesn't leave to Brisbane until 11:20, so we have time to actually explore Canberra's little airport. And as you can see, I got a mic, which I really hope that it will help to make my vlogs more clear. On my first vlog about the bus, about the local bus, I have seen that my voice was not the best. I will do another one with this mic, and maybe it will help. Those are the terminals. So after security, we will be there, and there is an interesting plane here. I think it was used by the Air Force at some point. So this one is the Lockheed Hudson Mark IV bomber, and this was commemorated by the Austrian War Memorial. Yeah, it was used in the Second World War, this one. This is how it looks like from inside. These are the check-ins for Virgin, Fiji, and other airways. And then in the middle, there is the security check. That was the entrance that we have came inside. Yeah, so we have time. We are actually just relaxing a bit, like. But I really like it. Like, it's really clean, small, like every other airport that is like all local small airports are actually really small. So yeah, this is really cool to actually see. Like, if you have time, then yeah, you can actually walk around this little airport. Like, yeah, it is not really big. Outside there is a fountain. There are the parking lots where you can drop off your relatives, or the taxis can drop off you. The elevators to go down to the arrivals section. Yeah, and that is the entrance that we actually came inside to this little airport. Yeah. Everything is really modern here. Like, there are some ads going on. Yeah, so I really like it. We have went through the security. Now we are inside of the gates. This is gate number 7, where our plane will leave at 11:20. So we have 3 more hours. As you can see, it is clear. The sky is clear and sunny. And this is the earlier Brisbane flight, the Virgin, that will leave at 10:30, I think. That is one of the most iconic buildings, the Fire, or what it is called, at Canberra Airport. And because of Easter, there is like some paper eggs where you can actually do some photos to celebrate Easter. This is really interesting, like to see this kind of cartoonish cartoonish like picture. Yeah, it is not very long, like that is the end, literally in front of us, the gate number 11, and that is the other end. So there is one shop here called Amuse, which is of fragrances, and there is another shop where you can actually buy some souvenirs from here, and also some food, drink. So there are some cafes nearby. So and it is not really crowded, and that is a security check.
you're flying with Virgin Australia, you get a complimentary tea, coffee, or water. And because of Easter, we got also a Lint Easter bunny. We are somewhere in New South Wales. The takeoff was really perfect. The seats are comfortable, and we are somewhere in New South Wales. We have did a right turn towards Sydney due to the Blue Mountains would be in the way, and the Australian government decided that no planes can pass Blue Mountains. So we are now we are flying towards East Coast and Sydney. I really hope that I can show you Sydney from up here. But it might not be the possibility because it might be on the other on the right side. We are on the left side. The flight is really calm. There are no turbulences at all, and I'm really happy with Virgin Australia. This is our second Australian air company or airplane company. The first one was with Jetstar, where we went to Ulara or Ayers Rock or Uluru, and that was a bit more of a low-cost flight. This is, I think, a mid, and Qantas is the high-cost planes. Yeah, so this is how Australia looks from up or from above. Like, there are fields and forests and hills and nothing else. Some farms nearby, but nothing else. It is really, Australia is really big, and you have to drive hundreds of kilometers if you want to do a big. So from from Canberra to Sydney, you can find some small cities, but not too big like Sydney or Melbourne. At Brisbane Airport, we won't have too much time. We have only 40 minutes, and then back on 25th, only 35 minutes. So we have to be a bit hurry. But as I looked, domestic airport of Brisbane Airport is not too big. Like, if we are landing on the other side, so let's see, or around the gate, I don't know, like on the other end, and then to the other end, it would be only 11 minutes. So that domestic part of Brisbane is not really big. That might be actually a salt lake, or just a muddy lake. When we were flying in January to Ulara in Victoria, there are actually a lot of salt lakes, and they look similar to this one. Also, there are some fields that were literally just circular. It's not just a rectangle; it was circular. There is actually a small town, but then nearby there aren't any more cities or towns. There are only farms. They have to drive a lot until you can find a new one. But this is more of like in the outback area or in the deserted area, because Sydney region there are a lot of cities actually, but if you are driving from Perth and then towards the center of Australia, then you need to drive a lot to actually see another city. Yeah, so there is actually a bigger city, much bigger that I showed you earlier. So it would be actually like by car, hour and 30 minutes maybe, or even 2 hours. It depends on road conditions. If you are driving through a hill or not. And we are soon in Queensland, and then after that landing in Brisbane. This is one of the worst parts when you are flying, when there is like a big cloud is coming and then you can't see anything, which is the worst, like, because this part is really like boring, because a lot of people actually like, or for me, I actually like to see down, so what can I see, and if I find any places that is familiar or you visited it, but during this cloud you can't see anything, and then it makes the whole journey a bit boring. So this was really surprising for me. One of the stewardess actually came here and he just said that if you want a toasty, it is a ham and cheese toasty, because I think, whereas I understood that it was two left. One of them was one other passenger wanted the other one, and I also wanted one, like to actually taste it. This is very good Virgin Australia. Also, we have as I was speaking, we have started our descent. Yeah, so we have started the descent. So yeah, so we are in Queensland. For this flight, we have not booked any seats. It was randomly selected. We are at the 26th row of 30, so almost at the back. On the next flight from Brisbane to Cairns, we have actually selected our seats because we are really hoping to see actually the Great Barrier Reef from above. I've actually looked some videos of it, the landing at Cairns. It will not as beautiful as if it would be like with a small plane tour that you can actually do for I don't know, like hundreds of dollars at Cairns. But I really hope that we will see some. And also the Great Barrier Reef, we will visit it for underwater. Yeah, it is actually really strange. Like, according to my knowledge, my geography knowledge, on the right side, so the other side, there should be actually the ocean already. Because Brisbane, Sydney and Cairns are all east coast, next to the ocean, and yeah, and how green it is. Like I have showed you the New South Wales part. It was a bit brownish, but here it is really green. This is because of the of the lot of rains that are here mostly, and also the fields. There are also farms here, but no towns at all. So I can see the farms with fields and then some houses, and then there is under the wing there is the closest big city that is actually here. And I think under the wing that is a rain cloud. Like I can see that it is really dark inside there, so it might be actually raining down there. Somewhere it is a mountain I can see. Yeah, it is really strange, like, to actually see this part. So far the service on Virgin Australia really good. On Jetstar it wasn't too bad as well, but here in Virgin Australia it is really good, much better than Jetstar. And I am not promoting them or anything, but according to my experiences, I prefer Virgin Australia. And now I just need a Qantas flight. Yeah, because I think Qantas would actually win this. Like, these three big airlines, Jetstar, Virgin Australia and Qantas, I think Qantas would win. Like that is the high cost planes or airline. It has more destinations than any of these airlines inside of Australia, and also international flights. Yeah, Qantas does the Perth to London, I think. Yeah. Also, there are a lot of hills now. This is how Cairns will be actually like the Cairns will have a small part that is the beach and the cities. So Palm Cove, Trinity Beach, and all of those small cities north to Cairns, and then next to it all mountains, which we will be actually going up with the railway. And then there will be also like a river, a crocodile river in Kuranda. Yeah, so we have a lot of plans actually to do in Cairns. I will not tell any of the. So I've already told some, but I will not tell you all of them, because then it is not a surprise anymore. This whole plane is actually almost full. Also at Canberra airport we saw a lot of children around 10 years old or a bit younger. It is because of the Easter break or the autumn break here. And a lot of them actually going to Brisbane or other cities to visit relatives or stay there for the week. There are a lot of valleys now, like all of these big mountains, and then inside of them there is like farms. There is also a bigger city now, and we are landing or descending really fast. That means that because Brisbane is not too far from the New South Wales Queensland border, since Gold Coast is actually Queensland, but or the last city of in Queensland, and after that New South Wales. So it is actually a really big city now. Like, there are a lot of houses and still farms inside them, and they are literally on top of the hill or the mountain. There are a lot of horse tracks, as similar to the UK. They are also love betting on horse races. Yeah, so we will be landing soon. And then because of the short time that we have in Brisbane at Brisbane Airport, I will not show it, but I would. Like I literally would, I would like to, but because we have only 40 minutes, I don't want to risk it that we miss our flight. So I will not record anything at Brisbane Airport. Maybe the gates or the show around the gate. I am just now hoping that we will actually do this 40 minutes, but I think 40 minutes is really good. Like 40 minutes is, I think, enough. So because 10 minutes would not be enough, but 30 minutes is, I think, or 40 minutes is enough for us to actually go to our gate and then get ready to board. Yeah, because literally we will be landing and then we need to board the other plane actually. Because this plane was left at Canberra 11:20 a.m. and then at 10:50 it was boarding time. So as soon as we are landing and then arriving to our gate, we will need to board the other plane. This might be actually Brisbane's outskirts. Yeah, there are a lot of houses, which is actually shows that we are in a big city, like not near a farm. So yeah, so this is actually Brisbane's outskirts. If the cloud was not here, then it would be better. Yeah, so this is Brisbane's outskirt, which is actually really nice to see. So far, Virgin Australia is. So if you want to have a comfortable ride, and you are not going, and if you are not going really long journey, then Virgin Australia is really good. Jetstar is also not bad, so you can choose that one, but it is a bit less comfortable than Virgin Australia. There are also a lot of clouds nearby that we are passing through, but I really hope that it was last one. Like we are actually lower than the clouds. Yeah, so Sydney is similar one, like, yeah, Sydney is also like really big. So Anti-Blue Mountains, every part or the all houses that you can see is actually Sydney. So similar like here that even like forward there are a lot more houses, which shows the outskirts of Brisbane and a similar experience in Sydney. So there is the city center. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see that there are a lot of skyscrapers. Yeah, so that is the city center of Brisbane. And it is really huge, like. Yeah. But there are a lot of parks, like in Canberra. Like Canberra is much less, much smaller than Brisbane or Sydney, but there are actually a lot of parks here, and even Canberra. There are a lot of pools here, like in Canberra it was actually around 20 degrees. Here it could be 30 or 25, because in Cairns it will be 30. And that is the city center of Brisbane, all of the skyscrapers. Yeah, so Brisbane and Sydney from above it is similar one. Like, there are no differences. But if you're seeing here, then yeah, it will be different. Like, you can see the Sydney Opera House, for example. So all of these are Brisbane. This is Brisbane Airport. We have arrived at Brisbane Airport. Yeah. Yeah, this landing was a bit less comfortable than the
time is 12:45 and it's around 27 degrees outside. We'll be getting into the gate very shortly. For everyone's safety, please keep your seatbelt fastened and the aisle exits clear until the seatbelt sign is switched off. This includes children and infants in your care. Please take care when you open the lockers and make sure you have everything before you leave. At this stage, we'll be leaving through the forward and rear doors. If you're leaving through the rear door, you'll have stairs to go down, so please mind your step as you exit. Hold the handrails and remain on the outside of the markers on the tarmac. If you're not comfortable with using stairs, just stay seated and leave through the forward door when it's clear, as we'll be refueling, smoking, vaping or using
all of these Virgin Airlines, Virgin Australia's plane. Yes, we might be actually going on a similar plane to Cairns. Also, I don't know if you can see that, but they have the Austrian flag on Virgin Airlines.
turbulence. They remind you that smoking, vaping and the use of e-cigarettes is not permitted anywhere on board this aircraft, including the toilets, which have smoke detectors and alarms. Our onboard menu is in your seat pocket with plenty of options for your purchase with a credit card. We do accept phone and watch payments as well. And as always, we have complimentary tea, coffee and water available. A reminder that if you leave your personal electronic device in your seat, please do not move and do not recline the seat. Just ask your cabin crew for assistance. For your convenience, there are 2 toilets at the rear of the aircraft for our guests seated in the main cabin. There's 1 toilet at the front reserved for our business class guests. So that everyone has clear access to the toilets, we recommend using them before or after our in-flight service. Flight time is 2 hours and 2 minutes. Please let us know if there is anything at all that we can do to make your flight more comfortable. We're always here and available to help.
There's lots to do on this flight with Virgin Australia Entertainment. Stay connected with our onboard Wi-Fi. With high-speed internet, you can message, stream or browse in the air by choosing from one of the great value Wi-Fi plans. There's also free streaming entertainment with hundreds of hours of the best movies and TV series to enjoy on demand, streamed to your device. Connect to the Virgin Australia Wi-Fi network now to start exploring your entertainment options.
So after the connection in Brisbane, we are now on the next Virgin Airlines plane to Cairns. We are now around Sunshine Coast in Queensland. That island is actually part of Sunshine Coast. And if we are looking that way, there are the ocean, and it is all water until New Zealand, which we will not actually see from this. These cities are actually like Brisbane, Gold Coast are really party places. These Sunshine Coast and others can be, but not specifically. If people are coming to party, they are going to Gold Coast or Brisbane, not Cairns or any other place. So we have started our descent at Cairns Airport, and I can see some greenish in the water. I'm thinking that they are the coral, the Great Barrier Reefs. I will try and find more, but I think that this sector is full of reefs. There is one on the left side, so as you can see that there are that it is a teal green and not dark blue. That is actually the coral or the reefs. Yeah, because the Great Barrier Reef is actually a lot of reefs, and this area is full of them. So from I know which city, but Cairns is not the only city. So if you go lower or norther or up, then you will find places where you can actually see it too. These these are corals, reefs. Yeah, like, yeah, it is much lighter. It is a teal green instead of dark blue. And with naked eyes I can actually see some corals. There are also boats there that I can see, which means that there are people snorkeling from Cairns. There is other one. It is bigger than the ones that I filmed. Yeah, according to Google search, there were like they said that from this airplane you can't actually see the Great Barrier Reef, but
Sign is now on. It's time to return to your seat and fasten your seatbelt. Large electronic devices,
but you can actually see them.
Using handheld devices.
So if you don't want to spend too much on a small plane that goes 45 minutes, then you can actually see them from normal planes if you're traveling to Cairns. There are also two small ships, boats, but also this window is not the cleanest one. So all of these teal green are actually the part of Great Barrier Reef. Here are reefs. These are the big mountains that I was talking about. So Cairns and the other cities nearby, it is surrounded by water and also this big mountain, this range. And also inside that it is raining at the moment. Yeah, but this is totally normal in this region, sadly, that it's raining. According to the Bureau of Meteorology here in Australia, it says that it will rain at least 1 millimeter of rain in Cairns every day that we are here. Thursday and Friday will be the sunny days, or according to the forecast. For people who have been in Southeast Asia, like Indonesia, Malaysia, they know that because of these tropical rains and this tropical region, everything is so green. Yeah, it is exactly the same here. that it is really green everything because of this tropical region and the rain. Also in this part there are a lot of waterfalls that during the wet season that's just ended or will end around the end of April, and because of the wet season a lot of rain is actually coming and it creates really big waterfalls. Small planes that you saw earlier, those are the planes that are actually going above the Great Barrier Reef. There is also a helicopter coming, so you can choose to use the helicopter or a small plane.
Ahead of schedule, and it is a stunning 29 degrees outside here. Virgin Australia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land on which we fly to and pay our respects to elders past and present. We would like to thank you for flying with Virgin Australia. It has been our pleasure bringing you up to Cairns from Brisbane this afternoon, and we would love to see you next time you choose to fly. Thank you, enjoy the rest of your long weekend, and happy Easter.
This airport is actually much bigger than Ulera or Ayers Rock Airport. But luckily we don't have any connection flights from here. We will have a transfer bus onto our car rental and then to our hotel. There are a lot of palm trees. Yes, a lot of fruits are actually coming from Queensland. Yeah, because because Australia is, if importing from Asia, it will be actually much expensive than just transporting in on land. Yeah, there are trucks from Queensland to everywhere in Australia.